If you talk about the export potential of Pakistan, it's naturally very massive. One of the biggest disappointments I had in Pakistan was that in spite of 10,000 software houses, a lot of them were working on what I'd refer to as crumbs on the table. And crumbs on the table, very simple stuff, short projects, not really working with global enterprises to build solutions, to integrate new solutions into their ecosystems at scale. They weren't. And there are two types of exciting work, right? One is cutting edge frontier technology that people are experimenting with. And the other is cutting edge technology that stabilizes but is now being scaled with global operators. I think Pakistan really, I think the local ecosystem, because of fairly attractive returns, even on simple work, went in that direction and scaled like that. And I fundamentally find that very disappointing because if you look at the global technology, services, and custom development space, it is in the trillions, and it's going to keep growing, and it's not even about money. It's about the fact that you want to have local smart players, which exist, to do that type of work, take on those challenges and that competitive environment where you are in bidding for proposals and in RFPs in spaces where global companies want to come work with you. Now that requires great engineering, it requires great delivery structures, it requires a culture that is compatible with them, it requires a bunch of things. Why are we not operating in that space? And it's such a natural advantage for us because engineering there's quite a lot of engineers in Pakistan. I won't use the word abundant, but I would use it's adequate and enough that we should be operating in that space. And I imagine a lot of people have tried, probably didn't work, and veered towards the smaller work, right? Because even in that work, the returns are very decent, but it is not fun. Why are we not doing the more complex work? Because the rest of the world is. One of the biggest tragedies I think in Pakistan is the fact that in the B2B space, local brick and mortar companies are not so competitive. That environment doesn't exist where they are trying to beat their competitor through a technology advantage for which they go to either a product company or a services company. That vibrancy is not here. If you go to the US, you'll find a lot of big companies are engaging the technology companies to develop their edge. That doesn't happen here, not fast enough. It's very late. Like if you look at SAP and some of the other systems that are incorporated, probably like a decade after everywhere else. So those cutting edge technologies, the businesses don't engage with. That's one gap we have, and I would hope that changes. It's got a little bit of a macro problem there. But in the services space, our companies should be competing globally in that space. And as investors, as operational investors, our goal is that we're going to equip them with all of these advantages so they are in that space. It's going to be challenging, it's going to be hard, but once you get into that space, your technologists are upskilled, you are doing work from a financial terms that's longer in duration, it's more complex, the experiences are invaluable. The amount of learning you have when you are dealing with structures at scale, with people who are very seasoned, because that's what the enterprise world is. When you're doing that work and you do it for a little while, now you've developed a local organizational culture of thinking that keeps on giving you more and more and more. And that's the space when I came to Pakistan, being the fifth or sixth largest country in the world. I mean, everywhere I go, I find the younger students gearing towards technology. They know it's where the financial future lies. They know that it's what's going to lead to stability. That should all propel us to be in that space where companies from Pakistan are globally sitting with players that are 60, 80, $100 billion companies in this space. We should be there, but we're not. And that's a concern, and a concern I hope we will fix in this very, very near future. I'm not going to wait a decade for that. This is something we're on the path of doing right now.